Alright guys, so it's been a pretty normal day in here. We've got the GL650 in here. I brought the chassis back. I went ahead and I threw the tank on it. As you've noticed, I've taken that thing down to bare metal. So it has a kind of a brushed finish in it right now, and then I just hit it with some WD-40. Now, we are going to paint maybe like a center section on that thing and make some contrast with the wheels. But for now, just bare metal. But yeah, chassis is looking good, so getting this thing dialed in, getting a lot of little bits for it, just kind of cleaned up today until the parts finally showed up for the Intruder 1400. So I did take out the pilot jet in the rear carb. What happened is I had that thing up and running, and all the residual crud in the fuel system actually shoved its way into that rear carb first, and then that clogged the pilot jet. So I made it like a mile on my first test drive, and then it just completely crapped out on me. So anyway, took that carb back off and then replaced the pilot jet in it just so I could look behind it, and everything was good. So just took it for another 20-minute spin. It's good to go. So I want to take you guys for a ride. So let me take you around. I'll show you what I've done. Alright, so beyond the carburetor stuff, I did rebuild the caliper, clean the master cylinder up there, but I did have to find a new line. I'm going to link this one because it actually fit really well. It was like 42 inches, 43 inches, something like that. But found one that had a 90-degree fitting on the end, and then I just used a regular banjo bolt instead of like the secondary kind of nut, whatever. And it just made for a nice clean line, and then all normal up top. So beyond that, you've probably seen I did raise the brake reservoir on this thing. Got it out from behind that cover to get above the bleed nipple. Went through the carbs, obviously, as I've said. I did modify the exhaust a little bit, so we shortened that about a foot. Moved the baffles up, and then of course the work to the seat. Made the brackets in here, welded a tab to the fender, riveted a tab into the plastic seat pan. So that's cleaned up, and of course I trimmed the back here. So that's the stock seat. This thing's actually really comfortable. So, let's go for a ride. per my luck, this thing again sucked some crap up into the fuel system, and the rear cylinder died on me again. So it was kind of on and off the whole ride, but basically at this point it just has to be the pump. I've put an inline filter in it that's upstream of the pump, so anything coming from the tank to the pump itself gets filtered, but it's pretty clean. So all the crap is just residual stuff that was in the fuel pump itself. So I have one from a previous project that is new. I'm going to see if I can get that to fit, but yeah, really causing me some headaches here. So that's what you deal with, but the rest of the bike is fine. And then whenever the cylinder is on, you know, this thing's running really good. So once we get the pump on, clean the fuel lines out yet again, we'll probably be in business. Alright, well, because my luck is my luck, Intruder, yet again back on the table. So obviously went for that ride, clogged the pilot jet up, and I'm very confident that it is the actual pump. I've had it off before and it was filled with just like rust and corrosion and gunk. I've used the air compressor, I've used a drill with like a wire brush, trying to feed it up through the holes and stuff like that, the inlet and outlet of the pump. Cycled it with fuel, you know, I've tried to flush it out the best I can, but I have a feeling it's still pushing contaminants. So I'm gonna just try to get it fixed once and for all. I do have two, you know, new pumps that I've had for like, they've been sitting in my garages and stuff for like 4 years now. Never had a use for them until now, so finally I'm gonna go ahead and just pull that pump off. We will make this work. Fuel line routing might be a little bit tricky. We will see. So anyway, pull the pump off, and then if I have enough, I'll put an inline filter on the outlet side of the pump as well. So I have an inline filter going into the pump, and then I'll have one going out. So let's get to friggin' work, get this thing knocked out. Well, for some reason, I'm trying to wire these pumps to see if to make sure they work. Can't get them to run at all. So this one's actually, whatever it's off of, this one's actually a 4-wire, so it's even more complicated. This one on the Intruder should just be a 2-wire, so blah blah blah. Anyway, got the old pump, taking it apart, and you're not gonna be able to really see in here. I'll take a picture and put it up now, but yeah, a lot of grime in this thing. I've cleaned it out from this direction, but I can only get to the 90 in the hose, so hopefully I can clean it out a little bit further and will prevent any further shit from passing into the fuel system. So gonna keep working on it. Alright, so luckily on this thing I can get this carb not all the way off, you know, it's still connected linkage wise on the right side of the carb, so I can get it up like this and then take the bowl off, and of course it was filled with crud again. Pull the pilot jet out, and what was happening is it gets crud pushed into the carb, and then when it's running, you know, one of those pieces works up, gets stuck in the pilot, and then you shut it off for a bit, it drains back down, and then you can usually fire it back up, and you have the pilot circuit again, and then it, you know, the whole process starts over. So anyway, gonna alleviate that. Got this cleaned out again. I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this thing, and as you've seen, I've pulled apart the pump. I have the other base, or where the lines are, I have that in some evapor rust right now. So just gonna do everything we can. All right, one last time. Let's go take this thing for a spin. I'm ready. I've got my overly pretty boy jeans on, some boots, and check it out. I got a fanny pack on that I got for Brickhouse Builds. So these really help with like tuning these old bikes. All I need is like a socket, a ratchet, and a screwdriver and stuff to tune some carbs. So it's nice to keep it on my body. But now I got some camera stuff in here. So anyway, if anybody would be interested in like a fanny pack, I have no idea what to put on them, but you know, maybe there's a cool saying or something. I don't know. We got to figure it out because it's something I want to make available because it's just a funny item, and who knows, you guys might get some enjoyment out of it. Anyway, I'm gonna go gear up and I'll see you back on the road. Real tired of this. I just did like 25 miles and it was good. Just did the same thing. I have 3 fuel filters on this thing. Unbelievable. Man, it was trying to do it on the front cylinder too, so I just kind of at a loss right now. I'm real tired of taking this thing apart.
More stainless than this side. Might be different. This side definitely looks chrome. That's
all right, final update on the Intruder 1400. So on that ride, obviously we're stranded and the front cylinder died. So yeah, it had a little bit of stuff in the carb itself, but not getting any fuel to it. Very limited fuel now. So I've tested the pump. It runs, but it's not building any pressure whatsoever. So it was only able just to barely run the rear cylinder as like a gravity feed from the tank through the petcock up through the pump into the carb, but it doesn't have enough to push back up into that front carb. So all that time with this pump, I should have just replaced it first thing and just been done with it. So anyway, got one on order and that's going to be here Sunday, but maybe the last to see of this bike, I don't know. Anyway, what a day. What a couple days. This thing's just been killing me. Alright guys, so that does it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We got to at least get out for a ride on this thing until we couldn't ride it any longer. So anyway, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And then check out some other stuff I have on, like, other videos or my social media, just Brickhouse Builds across the board. And yeah, lots of stuff, post every day. You can see what I'm doing behind the scenes. So definitely stay tuned. More CX500 updates coming. Of course, more GL650 updates coming. And lots of other stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.